Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Big Sam's Long Balls podcast with me, Dan. Now, it's a pretty miserable start to the new year if you are a Liverpool fan like me, but it must be an incredible start to the year if you are a Brentford supporter, because last night Liverpool went away to Brentford and it was a terrible, shocking, woeful, awful performance. Any adjective you can think to describe as Liverpool succumbed to a 3-1 victory or a 3-1 defeat, rather, to Brentford. But I'm going to be talking about Liverpool in this video mostly as a Liverpool fan, but I just want to quickly say I thought Brentford were unbelievable. The job that Thomas Frank is doing at that football club is fantastic. And without Ivan Toney as well, can you imagine the scoreline if he was playing? Brentford did actually score. I think they scored 5 goals last night. Liverpool scored 2, obviously. A couple of goals were ruled out for offside, but it was just awful as a Liverpool fan. But Brentford were brilliant. They were very, very strong defensively. The midfield absolutely dominated ours with strength and aggression. They were able to counter through us so depressingly easily. And then every single time there was a set piece or a corner kick, literally Brentford just looked like they were going to score. So Liverpool were at 6s and 7s throughout most of the game. But a fantastic performance from Brentford, and they are flying. They are absolutely flying. So what a job Thomas Frank is doing at that football club. But we do need to talk about Liverpool. Unfortunately, we do need to talk about Jurgen Klopp because, well, before I get into that, make sure you give our small little channel a like and subscribe. That would be absolutely grand if you could go ahead and do that. But we need to talk about Liverpool. We need to talk about Liverpool in a big way. Huge way. Failed to keep a clean sheet in the league since October. I'm just reading on Twitter here. So pretty depressing. Now, obviously, there's so many issues at Liverpool Football Club at this moment in time. We don't know what's happening with the owners. Are they staying? Do they only want a part of an investment? Do they want to sell the football club? No one seems to know. Loads and loads of departures behind the scenes. Julian Ward is leaving at the end of the season. We don't know what's happening with this sort of transfer committee. It seems that the likes of Pep Lingers and Jurgen Klopp are gaining more and more control behind the scenes, which you kind of hope should not be a bad thing. You want your manager to have a lot of control, to really have the final say or the ultimate say on transfers. But I'm just going to put this microphone over here. But I do fear that there are some similarities to maybe Arsene Wenger. At the end of his tenure, had a whole lot of power at that football club. He seemed bigger than Arsenal as a football club, and he was making every single decision. And the decisions were poor. And unfortunately, he was hounded out. And it was right to get him out of this football club. I really hope this isn't a point where, are we looking towards the end of Jurgen Klopp? Because I can sit here and moan about FSG, and if you've ever seen my channel before, you will know that I'm not a big lover of FSG. Look, I don't think they are the worst owners in the world. I think they've certainly done some very good things. They've also done some pretty poor things at this football club. But right now, where we're at, or maybe not where we're at right now, but where we've been over the last couple of years, what we've achieved, I certainly feel that we are beyond FSG now. We're through that sort of glass ceiling, and they do not have the financial abilities or power to really push Liverpool to that next level. It's sad to see, but I think what's best for Liverpool is for FSG to sell up. They would have made a hefty profit on this football club. Fantastic business model. You can't take that away from them, but we cannot really compete on the top end of the transfer market. So we are not limited by ourselves as a football club. We are limited by them. So I think ideally going forward, FSG do need to sell up. However, those are things that I'm not too sure about. Those are things that are happening behind the scenes. We don't know whether there are sales happening. We don't know why people are leaving. We can all speculate at best, but what we can talk about for certainty is what we're seeing on that football pitch. And what we're seeing on the football pitch, realistically, at this moment in time, has very little to do with FSG. We can talk about, the lack of buying a midfielder and all of these points, which are absolutely spot on, because it does, I think, all come down to that. But FSG, they're not the ones going out and signing these players. Yes, they give up the funds and they say what is available. But in a season where our midfield is absolutely on its arse, diabolical, and we've gone out and spent over 40 million on a player that is very exciting in Cody Gakpo, or Gapco, however you say his name. I'm going to go with Gakpo for this video, who no doubt is a top talent, incredibly excited to go and see him perform on that left side of a front three. But however, is he really the player that we needed right now to go and splash over 40 million on when our midfield is diabolical, is in desperate need for open heart surgery? So we can criticize FSG as much as we want, and I will criticize them till the cows come home. But they're not the ones who are going out and splashing 40 odd million on a left winger. That's Jurgen Klopp. That's Pep Lingers. That's the scouting department. I'm starting to think it's probably more Klopp and Lingers who are making these decisions. That's not on FSG. The team coming out looking incredibly unmotivated, lazy, lethargic. That's not on the owners. That's on the manager. Poor tactics, open, just wide open in the middle of the park. That's not on FSG. That is on Jurgen Klopp. And I am starting to worry about Klopp because for me, his position has I've never fully questioned it. You know, from time to time, I've given criticism and I've said that he should be under a little bit more fire. He should maybe be under a little bit more pressure, that there should be more of a demand to win a Premier League title, to win these top trophies than what I think there is. I've never wanted him sacked, and that's not the case now. Not this video. I don't want Jurgen Klopp sacked. I want to make that fundamentally clear. However, questions really do need to be asked of this manager right now. It's quite clear that these players seem unable at this moment in time to play the Jurgen Klopp way. You know, the high pressing, the intensity, the absolutely suffocating the life out of opposition midfields and defenses. Yet he still seems to want us to play this way, but these players are unable to do it. But instead of going out and going, okay, we need to bring in new players, he's kind of refusing to. He's getting very spiky in press conferences about having to bring in new players, or especially new midfielders, to be able to do this. So we're not changing our transfer approach or business model. We're not changing the tactics. So what can we expect to change on the football pitch? Well, if nothing changes behind the scenes, then absolutely sod all is going to change. And that's what we've seen. You know, fantastic performance from Brentford last night, but we've seen that performance almost every game this season. You know, since we've been back, great victory against Aston Villa, a fantastic sort of 40, 45 minutes against them. But we were so open, we were so exposed. Second half in particular, they just came at us and at us and at us and at us, and we just looked all over the place. And realistically, we left Villa Park with all 3 points, mainly because Villa just could not finish. Same thing against Leicester last week. We go 1-0 down within the first couple of minutes as Dewsbury Hall turns into prime Kaka. Skips through our whole midfield and defence. It's absolutely embarrassing. And they should have gone probably 2 or 3 up. But they didn't, because their finishing was really, really poor throughout the whole 90 minutes. And that's how we were able to get back into that game. Like, we won that game. We didn't even score. We relied on 2 own goals. And then the same sort of performance happens away from home at Brentford, where anyone, you know, I wanted to do a video the other day. I didn't quite get time, but I would have said what we need as a bare minimum is take Harvey Elliott out of that midfield, and we need physicality, because that's what they're going to do. They're going to get the ball out wide. They're going to ping it to the back post, where they're going to have 2 or 3 attackers on the likes of Shimikas, on the likes of Robertson, on the likes of Trent Alexander-Arnold. They're going to be physical. You need to stop that. We saw it last season there in a great game that was 3-3, but a game that probably ultimately cost us the Premier League title. And what have we learned? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. And this is where I'm starting to question Jurgen Klopp and Pep Lingers, because nothing is changing. We don't want to bring in midfielders. We don't want to change transfer approach. Maybe that's on Jurgen Klopp. Maybe it's not. We don't know what happens behind the scenes. But tactically, nothing is changing. Absolutely nothing. We are so open. We are so exposed. The players come out looking like they just can't be asked. I'd rather be anywhere else in the world. Now, if this was any other manager, I would say the time is up. I'd want them sacked. I'd want them gone. And I don't, because it's Jurgen Klopp. He is absolutely, easily, by far, the best manager we've had at this football club throughout my entire life. Now, that's not overly difficult, I must admit. But I do not want Jurgen Klopp to leave this football club. No way in a million years. However, he's starting to infuriate me. He's starting to really, really annoy me. And I'll take you back to 2015 when we had Brendan Rodgers, and I couldn't stand Rodgers really ever. I didn't rate him. I didn't particularly like him, the way he spoke. Just something about him I didn't see as a Liverpool manager. But during his final months, I found it beyond a level of unbearable and cringe. I had to turn it off because it was just excuse after excuse. It was waffle after waffle. And I just thought, shut up, man. Just get him gone. And when Jurgen Klopp came in back in 2015, it was such a breath of fresh air. I'll never forget his first interview with LFC TV. And I was grinning ear to ear and I was nodding with every single thing he said. I love this man. Everything he said, I was like, it makes perfect sense. There's no BS. It's straight to the point. He's talking about the quality we've got. He's also talking about the quality that we didn't have. I remember him sitting there saying, we've got absolutely no wingers at this football club whatsoever. He came in with a very, very clear plan of what he wanted to implement. And everything he said, I couldn't have agreed with more. Now, over the years, Jurgen Klopp has been dubbed being a bit of a whinger and a moaner and coming up with some excuses. And as all football fans, you like to try and defend your manager, despite sometimes it being really, really difficult to. But I always thought, this is a little bit tactical. He's trying to defend these players. He's coming up with silly excuses. I highly doubt he believes in himself. Behind the scenes, I guarantee he's given these guys an absolute rollicking, which I think was happening in the past. But now these excuses are just getting more and more ridiculous. The stuff he's saying in press conferences is becoming more and more bizarre. And he's no longer that man that when I first listened to 7 years ago, I thought I couldn't stop smiling listening to him, where everything he said made perfect sense. Now it's just waffle. It goes in one ear, goes out the other. I can't actually believe some of the drivel that is coming out of Jurgen Klopp's mouth at this moment in time. I find it quite depressing, actually, as a Liverpool fan, to listen to Jurgen Klopp at this minute in time. I don't want to watch his press conferences because I'm thinking, what on earth is he going to say next? And last night, you hold your hands up and you go that we lost the better team. And I knew with that third goal, he was going to moan about it. Konate, 6 foot, whatever, huge bloke, absolute monster of a player, throws himself to the floor, just piss-arsing around with the ball in and around our penalty area. I have no idea what he was doing. Our whole defense was doing that pretty much for the 90 minutes. It does seem to be some weird tactical thing at this moment in time where defenders just don't lump it clear or just get rid of it. I know route one might seem a bit, Sam Allardyce-esque, but sometimes it's the only bloody thing to do. Joel Matip did something similar in the second half. He was surrounded by about 3 or 4 Brentford players, and he's trying to dribble it out for all of them. I'm thinking, screaming, just get rid of it. The ball bounces back to him, thinking, right, you've got away with one there, clear it. Then he tries to nutmeg one of the strikers, falls over, tries to buy a free kick. Referee says no, get up, and Brentford nearly score. So Konate, the ball bounces back, and you're thinking, just play it back to the keeper, put it out. At no point of me, or no part of that, did I think that the striker was going to get to the ball. It was so easy for Konate to clear. I don't know what he's doing. He feels a tiny bit of contact, throws himself to the ground. It was embarrassing watching that. It was so embarrassing watching that. And anyone who was screaming a foul, give your head a wobble, lads. Come on, just get a grip, because that's never a foul in a million years. And I knew in my heart Jurgen Klopp was going to come out and moan about it. And he did. Of course he did. And he starts talking about microwaves and just all this absolute rubbish. And all I wanted last night, was a victory, but after it was clear we were going to get pulverized by Brentford, all I wanted was Jurgen Klopp to be very honest in his interview and come out and say that we were beaten by the better team, to just really not just throw the players to the walls, but to be honest and say that it wasn't good enough, to say that he expects more from his players. But just these excuses are so pathetic. And I'm always a big believer that teams represent their manager. They represent that personality. And when Jurgen, for the last couple of years, while Liverpool have been brilliant, Jurgen Klopp's been on it. He's been aggressive, nasty on the sideline. He's like an animal out there. He's wanting more. And Liverpool were like that on the football pitch. They were animals. They were hunting people down. They were working in packs. They were aggressive. You look at Arsenal right now, the transformation that they've had is incredible. But you're looking at Arteta, he doesn't stop. He's nearly running onto the pitch. He's so passionate. He's so full of energy. He's so aggressive. He wants his players to be snapping at the opposition, and they represent him. Same with Pep Guardiola. I watch Jurgen Klopp now, and he seems so whingy, so pathetic in his press conferences, so unlike his usual self. And his team is exactly the same. I'm watching that thinking, no wonder the team is pathetic, absolutely pathetic right now. Because you are as a manager and you're not like that. So I need Jurgen Klopp to snap back, to become Jurgen Klopp again. I don't know what's going on. some theories that Pep Lingers is taking over behind the scenes, and this is very similar tactics that he was implementing when he left a couple of years ago to take a managerial job in Holland, and they couldn't sack him quick enough because it was awful football. I can't see a world in where Jurgen Klopp just steps back and goes, right, Pep, I want you to become the new Liverpool manager. You're the main man. I'm just going to sit back. It's kind of what it feels like at this moment in time, but I can't quite see it. There is enough talent in this Liverpool team. There's certainly points to be made with Jamie Carragher saying it feels like this is an aging squad or an aging team that's coming to its end. Yes, I think it's very much got that vibe to it, but there are some really exciting young players in this team as well. But a lot of them just don't seem to fit, Harvey Elliott and Carvalho in particular. And we're so obsessed with playing this 4-3-3. And a few years ago, you would have said we were probably one of, if not the best run club in world football, with the scouting, the transfers, everything fits. We're buying good young players, Harvey Elliott and Fabio Carvalho. No one can tell me these guys aren't talented. But where do they fit in a 4-3-3? It feels like we bought 2 number 10s for a team that doesn't play a number 10, and we're trying to play them as number 8s or as wingers. It just doesn't work. And we're not changing it. We're just not changing anything. And it's the same tactics. It's the same piss poor attitude of when they step out onto the football pitch. And then it cuts to Jurgen Klopp, slack-jawed looking, who could predict this? We could all predict it. We all predicted last night. But yeah, that's my 2 cents on the matter. Wanted to have a little bit of a rant about last night. I was going to go into detail about the game, but I'm not going to. I'm going to do another video probably tomorrow in a way that I feel that maybe Liverpool could progress, maybe changing formation, going to a 4-2-3-1, playing with a number 10, with the likes of Salah, Nunez, Gakpo, and just going all out attack at this moment in time. Does the signing of Gakpo mean that we want to go with a double pivot? Who knows? Who knows at this point in time? But yeah, those are some of my views. If you enjoyed the video, give us a like. That'd be great. Subscribe for more. Comment down below your thoughts, because I'm at a loss with Liverpool at this moment in time. I'm really starting to worry about Jurgen Klopp. Just the way that he's behaving, the tactical decisions. It does not seem like Jurgen Klopp. I said in my last video, this doesn't look, it doesn't feel, it doesn't smell like a Jurgen Klopp team. And it's just getting worse game after game. I still think Jurgen Klopp is the man to take us forward, but I don't know whether that's big part, mostly belief or hope, because I just don't want to see Jurgen Klopp leave this football club. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below, guys. Hopefully we can make a exciting and important midfield transfer in the next coming weeks, but I won't hold my breath. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. If you did, give me a like, subscribe, and most importantly, comment down below. So thanks you so much for watching.